Scott Erlin in with head men's basketball coach Josh Schertz for our weekly report. Coach, I first want to start back on last Saturday's game. We talked about it after the game, and it still is astounding. You get up by 21 points on Newberry, and then you knew they were going to make a run. They end up making a run, hit 11 three-pointers in the second half, cut it to 5 at one point. But you had talked about it after the game. Guys just kept coming up with plays after play after play, and we come away with a 107-97 victory. So talk about that game.
Well, I think, obviously I thought we offensively played really well. I don't think even defensively it was terrible. It was just, you got to give a lot of credit to Newberry. They fought like crazy, came out, hit 5 threes in the first 4 minutes, go 11 of 15 from the three-point line. It's hard to do by yourself in a gym, let alone against defense. Made some really tough finishes. Dave's got a good team. I mean, they've got an NCAA tournament, caliber team, and they played a unbelievable second half. I thought first half, we were a little more active. We basically, I thought, lost our competitive spirit from about the start of the second half to about the under 16 media, and it went from 21 to about 12, and then from there it was just a dogfight. But it comes down to people get in and they say, well, offense sells tickets, defense wins championships, and that's not the reality. The reality is to be an elite team, you got to have balance. You got to be really good offensively, and you got to be really good defensively. You got to be good defensively because there'll be nights where you don't make shots. You got to figure out a way to win, and there's nights where maybe you guard the other team just making shots, and you got to be able to respond and score to outscore them. And I think we were able to outscore Newberry. It definitely did not get stops. We held them to 64 in the second half, and so they really were terrific. Like I said, our guys, I was really proud that we just kept making plays, and our guys, I thought both teams showed a lot of heart, showed a lot of fight, and it was a really good college basketball game. It was certainly not a defensive clinic, but it was a good college basketball game, and like I said, I think Dave's got an outstanding team, done a great job with them, and they're going to be a tough out the rest of the way. And again, he's got a team that I think certainly is capable of making the NCAA tournament.
32 points apiece for Jarrell Simmons and Luquan Choice. Those two guys have been phenomenal all year. Jarrell ends up getting the SAC Player of the Week award, averaged 33 points a game last week. And then also something that came out yesterday, Luquan Choice is now in the top 50 finalists for the Bevo Francis Award from small college basketball. So just talk about how those two guys have really kind of fueled everything for you guys the last, since 2016, really. The calendar switched in 2016, I should say. Yeah,
they both, had outstanding years. I mean, you look at to be as consistent as they are, those two guys to perform night in, night out, the level they're performing at against defenses that are designed to take them away. Sometimes you're just, you're just amazed. You sit over there, and both those guys are unbelievable competitors. They're guys that are really team guys. They as good as their scoring numbers are. I think Luquan's got 88 assists, Jarrell's got 70. They certainly are not guys that they get all their stuff inside the offense, and they're great teammates, so great competitors. They're really everything that's right about college basketball and college athletics in general, and just been a joy to coach, and obviously they're kind of, both guys are quieter guys, but they're really unbelievable competitors underneath that. You just watch them and how hard they go and how much they care and how much they want to win. And it's not as maybe as demonstrative as a Dorian, but both those guys certainly are guys that are unreal competitors.
And now, another thing we learned yesterday is that your team has been selected to participate in the inaugural Small College Basketball Hall of Fame Classic. You had called it the Blue Bloods of college basketball there. Going to take place at the Ford Center up in Evansville, Indiana, along with Southern Indiana, Bellarmine, Alabama Huntsville, Kentucky Wesleyan, and Florida Southern. So we know your two opponents you're going to get to play in the second week of next season, Kentucky Wesleyan and Alabama Huntsville, two perennial powerhouses there. So just obviously talk about the opportunity to play in the first one of the Small College Basketball Hall of Fame Classics.
Well, it's an honor to be invited. I don't know that it's not very intelligent scheduling on my part. We already had a brutal schedule, and this takes what was already a difficult schedule and makes it probably as good as any in the country in terms of strength of schedule. We look at what Huntsville and Kentucky Wesleyan do consistently, combined with Eddie King and Bellarmine and et cetera, as we go down Lees McRae and on and on. So. But it really is going to be a special weekend. I think it was the pros outweighed the cons, and the pros are that you're doing something. You get invited to that, and as I said yesterday, you're talking about some of the blue blood programs. We're not a blue blood. We haven't been at that level as for it takes a long time. Those programs, Kentucky Wesleyan, Southern Indiana, Florida Southern, Bellarmine, et cetera, even Huntsville, have been good for a really long period of time, won national championships. A lot of those programs have, and multiple national championships. So, from our end, it's really an honor and a privilege to get the opportunity to go out, be invited, and compete in that. Certainly a credit to the guys that have come through here over the last 6 or 7 years, that they felt it that we were a team worthy of being included. So it's going to be a great weekend. I know they're piggybacking it with Evansville Murray State game. They're going to do a big basketball festival there. Going to close down the streets. The Ford Center is one of the nicest venues I've ever been in. They've hosted multiple Elite Eights, and Evansville as a town really gets it in terms of small college basketball. I think it's really kind of the center, the hub of small college basketball. And then you're playing two great opponents, so it should really be a weekend that is really good for small college basketball. And I think Thursday they're going to have that inaugural class induct. They're going to be a great banquet there. We're going to get a chance to kind of mix and mingle with that first Hall of Fame class and the other teams, and so it'll be a really cool weekend. I hope it's something that our fans take advantage of, because I think it's a very special opportunity, and it happens, like I said, the pros definitely outweigh the cons, and we're looking forward to it. Kentucky Wesleyan is certainly kind of they won the most national titles, and certainly one of the tradition-rich programs in history, and the job Lenny does at Alabama Huntsville. I mean, they've won the league. Gulf South's a great league, won it 6 of the last 7 years, been to multiple Elite Eights and regional finals, and his team every year is outstanding. So we'll certainly be excited to play, and it'll be a great opportunity for us to compete against those teams on a neutral floor.
Well, let's get back to this season. We're at the home stretch now. You begin the second to last week of the regular season. Mars Hill coming in here on Wednesday, and then you go to a really highly anticipated game on Saturday against nationally ranked Queens, where if everything goes as we hope, a win on Wednesday, then you'll have a chance to clinch the SAC championship. So just talk about the week ahead.
Well, it's you start with Mars Hill and Rick's team coming in. Obviously, the games kind of run together, but getting back to watch that game we played with them the first time, I mean, it was unbelievable. We were down double figures in the first half, and they were just I think they hit 9 or 10 out of 12 from three in the first half of the game, and I thought a lot of them were really contested. He's got a team that's really, really gifted offensively, and they play with a lot of confidence offensively. They certainly he gives them the green light, and he has players you can do that with. They're really really good on the offensive side of the ball, and so we'll have to guard better than we have. I'm interested to see if we can make that jump defensively. We've shown it in spurts, but we haven't been as consistent on that side of the ball as we need to be, and they'll certainly test us on that end. On the defensive side, Rick's teams are they're right playing for they're playing for a conference tournament bid. He's done an amazing job when you look at it at Mars Hill. Not great circumstances. They don't have the same amount of scholarships, et cetera, et cetera. He's sitting there, I think, a game back at Tusculum right now for that A spot, trying to break in the conference tournament. So it's a huge opportunity for them. It's a big game for them. It's certainly a huge game for us. We're playing for our own high stakes, as you said. We're competing for a regular season title, and certainly trying to earn an at-large berth to the NCAA tournament, and those things. So it's a big game, high stakes, and we'll have to play well to win. It was going back and watching. It was it was a 6-point game with about 13-14 to go there, and we ripped off a big run, and we were able to get some separation, but Rick's got a good team, and certainly a very scary team coming in here on Wednesday night. As for Saturday, Queens is outstanding. I mean, there's nothing you can say outside of that. They're really a missed free throw away from being 23-1. They've taken on and really done a great job of answering every challenge. They got outstanding personnel. They've got Sean Morgan inside is as good a big as I've seen. They get great perimeter play. Marquise Rankin's playing outstanding. Obviously, Rob Lewis, one of the best wings. They shoot it unbelievably. I think they're second in the country in field goal percentage. They're very sound defensively. Their athleticism and their length make everything very difficult on that side of the ball. They rebound the ball well. They're at the top of the league in everything, which is why they're 22-2. I think certainly it'll be a big game. It's a great game for the South Atlantic Conference. You'll have two teams that'll be in the top 7 in the country, squaring off on Saturday, and certainly a huge challenge for our guys. And that seems over the years to bring out the best in our guys when they when they're in that situation where there's a huge challenge. I'm sure it's the same for Queens, because they obviously don't get to 22-2 by accident. So it's a big game because both teams have performed well. If both teams were 2-22, I don't think it would have quite the same excitement. So we'll be looking forward to going in there and testing ourselves against them. And they're a team that's certainly capable of winning everything, not just the league or the region, but I think they're good enough to win the national championship. We'll have to play outstanding to be competitive on their home floor in what should be a great environment.